Hey everyone, and welcome! Today we're diving into the modern educator's journey and completely rethinking what professional learning means. So let's forget about those one-off workshops for a second. We're going to explore how we can shift from seeing this as just a requirement to seeing it as what it really is, a continuous, empowering journey of growth.
You know, this idea from researcher John Hattie really sets the stage perfectly. It's not just about the methods we use or the knowledge we have. The real magic, the secret sauce, is in how we think about our teaching and how we are constantly, actively looking at our impact. That is the heart of everything we're going to talk about today.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We'll kick things off with the why we need a new approach. Then we'll get into the what reflection and collaboration really look like. And finally, the how, the practical tools you can start using in your daily practice.
So let's start with that big question. Why do we need a new approach anyway? I mean, we all know teaching is incredibly complex, right? And yet, so often we rely on these one-size-fits-all solutions for our own growth. It's time to challenge that idea.
Think about it. As educator Charlotte Danielson points out, teaching is just this constant stream of hundreds of decisions every single day. And in all that complexity, it doesn't matter how skilled we are, there's always room to get even better.
And this right here, this is the core of the mindset shift we're talking about. It's about moving away from those isolated, compliance-driven events and truly embracing professional learning as a continuous, personalized journey that's just part of our daily craft.
Okay, so what does this new approach actually look like? Well, the first and probably most fundamental path to growth is learning to look inward through what we can call the art of reflective practice. So what is reflective practice really? Well, it's not just kind of thinking about your day on the drive home. No, it's a disciplined, continuous cycle of observing yourself and evaluating what you do, all with one goal in mind: constantly refining your practice.
The researcher Donald Schoen actually breaks this down into two key types. First, you've got reflection in action. That's thinking on your feet, making adjustments right in the middle of a lesson. Then there's reflection on action, and this is so crucial. It's the process of looking back afterwards to analyze and plan for what comes next.
And what's cool is that there are models that give us a framework for this. Take Kolb's experiential learning cycle. It shows that this isn't random. It's a continuous loop. You have an experience, you reflect on it, you form new ideas, and then you try them out.
Then you have Gibbs's model, which builds on that foundation and adds even more layers. It actually encourages us to describe what happened, analyze our feelings, evaluate the whole thing, and then create a really specific action plan. It's just a much more structured and honestly insightful way to approach it.
Now, reflection is powerful, but it's definitely not a solo journey. The second essential path to growth is looking outward and learning collaboratively with our peers, because at the end of the day, we are always stronger together.
And this brings us to the idea of professional learning communities, or PLCs. Now, when they're done right, these are not just another meeting on the calendar. They are dynamic, ongoing cycles of collective inquiry, where educators might, say, analyze student work together to figure out how to improve their teaching strategies.
You know, Charlotte Danielson has this powerful analogy. She says that too often teachers work in isolation, but a school is much more like a symphony orchestra, where that beautiful music, student success, comes from how everyone works together.
But for that collaboration to really thrive, school leaders have a huge role to play. They have to intentionally build the culture and the systems, things like common planning time and peer observation, that create a safe environment where people feel they can take risks and genuinely learn from each other.
Okay, so we've talked about these big ideas, but how do we actually put them into practice? Let's get really practical. Here are some tools you can start using, like tomorrow, to build these habits of reflection and collaboration.
Think of this as your personal data capture toolkit, inspired by the educator John Kamal. These tools are all designed to be super quick and easy to fit into your busy day. You could jot down notes in a journal, record a 30-second voice memo, create a simple student survey, or invite a colleague to pop in and observe. The whole goal is to make capturing your practice a seamless and routine part of your work.
And look, if you do nothing else, start with this simple but incredibly powerful daily question. How did it go, and how do you know? The first part is your gut feeling, your impression. The second part, that's the evidence. This simple frame pushes you beyond just feeling into real, solid, evaluative thinking.
Okay, let's bring all of this together now, because the ultimate goal isn't just to check off a box for reflection or to have a PLC meeting. The real goal is to build an authentic, school-wide culture of professional growth.
If there's one single thing to take away from our time today, it's this. Effective professional learning is not an event you attend. It is a culture you create and live in every single day.
And why does this matter so much? Well, because professional learning is not about fixing what's broken. With estimates showing that around 94% of teachers are already proficient, this whole journey is about empowering that huge majority of dedicated educators to become even more skilled, more impactful, and more inspired in their craft.
So we'll wrap up by turning it back over to you. Let this be the very first step in your reflective journey. Just think about your day so far. What's the one question you're going to ask about your practice today?